Well, John, some damning allegations surfacing at the Commission today that SARS's debt, we've always known that things were bad, but I guess today numbers were attached to that situation. The debt grew from 85 billion to 105 billion during Tom Moyane's tenure.
Yeah, hi, certainly a lot of damning revelations came out today at the Commission. And as you mentioned, of big concern is really this fear and mistrust that exists at SARS. And the fact that you have, that the Commissioner also mentioned that they've received quite a few anonymous affidavits from various staff members at SARS who are very afraid to come and to appear and to testify at the Commission, because they are concerned that they might be victimized when the Commission is finished with its work, or that some of them might lose their jobs. So that, of course, is a big stumbling block for the Commission. And the Commission has said that they might have to resort to some people testifying in camera if they want to get information out of them. And what we've also heard that during the time of Tom Moyane, a lot of skilled and experienced people were moved around completely out of the positions that they were in, and without any regard for the expertise and skills that they've had. And a lot of duplication that has happened over the last few years as well. So there's certainly a lot of concern as to how efficient is SARS being run at the moment.
Well, John, I mean, one would have thought that for this critical commission to be successful, something would have been done. In other words, to create an atmosphere that would be conducive, you know, for people to come forward with testimonies, especially if, I mean, the aim of it all is to actually make sure that SARS is put back where it belongs, up there where it was once one of the model agencies of the government.
That's right for you, and I think the Commission was taken by surprise. The fact that people are actually living in fear at SARS, because they are worried about testifying. Because many, as the executives who testified today, they've indicated that many skilled people have left SARS because of the frustration in the way business has been done at the organization. So how the Commission is going to go about in making sure that people actually feel comfortable testifying, that's not clear. In fact, the two executives who testified, they've said as well that they are hoping that more people will come forward and testify, so that they can really try to recoup SARS and to make sure that it returns to its former glory. But that's really up to the Commission now to decide how it will go about in calling or getting more people to testify or giving their information as to what's happening. Because as they said that there's besides the duplication that's happening at SARS, there's also this new organizational model that was introduced under Tom Moyane, and it seems that 2 years after it was introduced, it had absolutely the opposite impact of what they were trying to achieve.
Do we know, John, if that model is still in place? In other words, SARS is still following that model, flawed, as the officials were saying it is, and how it has kicked people, experienced people out of the system effectively?
Well, that's actually the contradiction, the fact that they were forced to implement this fifth model, because what happened was that SARS used an international consultancy, Bain, to come up with new ideas as to how SARS will be run. And then, as the one executive, Dr. Randall Carlson, as he explained, that they were then told that there's a fifth model that will be implemented, one that wasn't, that the staff was not consulted properly about, and they now have to make do with this organizational structure that's in place. But what the Commission and the executives also said, that there are still a lot of very or highly skilled people at the organization, and they're trying to make do with what they have at the moment.
While the officials were talking, I mean, John, was there any interrogation of what was really wrong with the model itself? In other words, whether the model was bad, or whether in fact people took time or went adjusting to the new model because they were used to old ways of doing things. Was that interrogated at all?
Yeah, the commission tried to unpack with these executives what's happening with this model and how is SARS operating. And they were saying that the concern for them is that there's a lot of duplication and a lot of vital units were scattered around into different departments. So that is the concern for them. And they were saying that they are trying to readjust the way things are being done. And in fact, one of the executives also said that the best is to really collapse all these different responsibilities into one unit, because you have different responsibilities or the same responsibility being shared by different structures within SARS. So it's a very complicated structure that they have at the moment. So they're trying to simplify it, but it won't be an easy task from the sound of things.
Okay, we're going to leave it for tonight. John Bailey was, of course, keeping an eye on that inquiry into SARS. Another revelation there that SARS's debt book grew from 85 billion rands to 135 during Tom Moyane's tenure. And as you just heard from John as well, a lot of people displaced because of this operating model that was introduced. That commission, of course, continues.